Right, welcome to this unique video here. It's a subscriber suggestion, and it's a video I had been meaning to make. Anyway, it's a very good idea for a video, and that's discussing fatigue. When you get sort of fed up with your hobby and want to leave it for a while, how best to bounce back from that and sort of manage your hobby. I've known a number of people that have been into Warhammer 40,000, but they are not into it anymore. I got fed up with it and they sort of packed it in. I got into Warhammer 40k when I was 14, and that was at school. A friend of mine brought in, it was a codex, I believe, one of the early editions of 40k, and I just remember, it was in class actually, just remember just going through all the pictures, and it was the artwork that got me into Warhammer 40,000 in the first place. Just sets your imagination running, and then the different armies, the different factions, and all of that coming from army films and that kind of interest anyway, and history and so on. The first, I'm wondering, I'd been doing war gaming of some kind just all the way through my childhood in some form. I used to make up my own games and so on, even from Lego all the way through up to this kind of stuff here. So that's the origins of it. And then 40k, they were sort of age 14. Played it through secondary school. Then secondary school came to an end, but I then joined a Wargames club, and it's the same Wargames club that we play games at the moment. That's the SSWG Wargames club. So if it wasn't for them, none of this channel and all these things wouldn't have existed. So you meet other players and so on, and get into the hobby, and it's a very sort of, they do terrain and stuff there, and so that keeps you interested. And there's every type of variety of game, mostly historical there, at every period in history they do, people with different interests, and then a lot of 40k and different Games Workshop stuff going on as well. So that was fuel for keeping the interest going. And then James getting into it as well. I went then into historical. Let me think now. 14 years old, done a few years of 40k, played with my friends from secondary school, and then sort of packed it in. And there was a time when I was just doing historical, really enjoying that. Didn't go off wargaming at all, just really into historical stuff, all sorts of stuff. World War II, Napoleonics, Ancients, still have those armies, Battle of Trafalgar, all that kind of stuff up and running, different scales and so on, Zulu Wars, all sorts. Then I got back into 40k through James. James got a copy of White Dwarf, and then he was looking really interested in the Ultramarine stuff, the beautiful models and so on. That I was looking through the White Dwarf, and I saw it was one picture. I think it was a person that had sent in a reader's picture, and it was a Tau Fire Warrior. And I was like, I don't remember those, never seen those before. And then I looked into got into the Tau and started collecting them. And so when you see the Tau games here on both the channels, those are some of the earliest models that I bought getting back into Warhammer 40,000. So it was the Tau that got me back into 40k. And since then, that would be about 2008 or 9, I think, even 2007ish, and then YouTube started about 2011. So I've been doing 40k for a long time now, and as you can see, Battle Report's going to season 7. So just on the YouTube side of things, that's 7 years coming up. I have 14 factions, 15 if you count the new project, and so fatigue and getting bored and fed up and doing too much and giving up, it is an issue that everybody has to face. And same for myself, same for any type of hobby as well. People do hobbies, they give up on stuff, and so on. So how do you combat that? That's the aim of this video here. So it's all that situation. You think, I can't do any more painting, I'm bored, I can't, you lose sort of interest to some degree. So I'm just going to speak from experience, sort of managing all these different factions and collecting them over the years and so on. So I've got a number of points. The first point is, if you feel you need to take a break, then take a break. There's no harm in doing that. So, for example, if you even short term, when you go on holiday, leave all your codexes at home, and just take a full-on break. You'll find if you take a proper break from something, either you will give up on it, you'll say, I can't bother to ever do it again, or you'll say, yeah, I'm refreshed and can't wait to get back into it. So I think this video is more for people who deep down they really like Warhammer 40,000, but they're sort of struggling. It's not really for those who are just going to, no matter what advice you give them, they're just going to drift off and do something else. You know, sort of the half-hearted collectors, which there's plenty of those. Ones that sort of get into 140,000, they buy a load of stuff and then they're gone. But this is more for those who are dedicated, but you get sort of tired out and wondering how best to combat that. So point number one is take a break. Short breaks are okay. Sometimes you might want to take a break by going into a different system or going into historical wargaming, for example. Take a break and just play something else. Or the other way of taking a break sometimes is just to paint terrain. You say, yeah, I'm not going to paint any models anymore, I'm going to paint some terrain. So you might work on, which is actually what I've been doing. I've been painting terrain recently and I've really been enjoying it. So I've been working on some AdMech terrain for my battlefields. And it means you're still making progress with your hobby, but you're enhancing the table that you're using instead of one of the armies. You can take a break from army lists and painting units and all of that. Instead you can just immerse yourself in a faster process, which is painting terrain. And I've really enjoyed that. It's been refreshing to do it, and you then really do look forward to playing games because you've got nice new terrain to then use on your tabletop. So take a terrain break is what I would say. I've enjoyed doing that, especially over Christmas and New Year's time. I've been working on terrain a fair bit. Projects I've been meaning to do, and it's been rewarding to get them done. I'm really excited now to bring in this new terrain into the game. So that's an excellent way of taking a break as well. So yes, there's some psychological stuff here as well, which I found has helped, and things you might not think of, but things that I've found psychologically have actually really powerful ways of getting remotivated. So I've noticed with a number of people that the next one is to clear away all of your models. What can get you down is you have your painting desk full of stuff that's half painted or not painted, and each time you sit down it's just staring at you, not done, and your mind gets clogged up and the process gets clogged up. It's like last thing you want to see is a backlog of stuff. I mean, that applies to anything in life. If you're in a workplace and you've got a backlog of work, it's depressing and it makes you hate your job. Same with painting. If you see a backlog of stuff, it's just gets to you. So I try and be in the habit of getting models away and even boxing them up and moving them out of the way, even half painted stuff, and getting them out of sight so you can't see them. And then you paint a model, you finish it, and then you go and find something else and then make progress with that. The most motivation I've found is when you need a model for something, you get the kit, you make it, you spray it, you paint it straight away and finish it. That's when you're at your most fired up. That's what I've found. So it's good to get into that process of build the model, paint the model, finish the model. Is a great way of going about things. But half painted stuff, and especially unpainted models all stacked up all across your shelf so that you can see them, is depressing and not good psychologically. So hide them all away and clear your desk of all of the unpainted stuff, and then just bring out models as you need them. And you might have them dotted about all over the place, all hidden away. You might say, all right, I really fancy painting up something for my Eldar. You go and find that unit and then paint them, and that's just what you can focus on. But psychologically I found that's helped a great deal indeed. The next one is to tidy up and clean up your painting desk, or wherever you do your painting, is to clean it down. So clear everything off, dust and polish the whole place, dust and clean all of your paints, tidy up your brushes, throw away all the old brushes, go through your paints and throw away all of the old stuff. All the bits and bobs you're never going to use, throw all of those away. All of the old packages and boxing and rubbish, clear all that away as well. And then just leave a nicely arranged desk. The paints look as if they're quite new. Get all the dust away. Again, psychologically, dust means no movement, old, time passing by. So all of that, and your brain picks that up. You want it fresh. And so give your desk a nice clean down and a reorganisation, and that will freshen up your mind. The same for in the household. You know, a house that you've tidied top to bottom, it just remotivates you, makes you content with your living space. And it's the same for your hobby as well. So clear out all the junk and old stuff. Sell off stuff on eBay. I do that sometimes. Things that are sat there that are never going to get done, or out of date things or whatever. Clear all that away, get rid of it, and clear a nice clean working space, nicely organised, and then it's a joy to sit down at a decent painting area. And I found that has really helped as well. So a big tip, that one. And you might be might be skeptical of that, but try it out, and you'd be pleasantly surprised, I think, how much that motivates you to get painting. Yeah, the next thing to do to get motivated, and this is for painting fatigue, motivation. Yeah, it's not really the hobby in general, it's more for painting. You're like, oh, I have to paint this, or I should be enjoying this, but I'm not enjoying painting this unit. I would say that the next one, I've got it written down here, the next one is enjoy a good battle with that faction. So if you, what I would avoid though is using unpainted models, because you're then getting the enjoyment of the game without painting them first. That's the wrong way around, and that's how a lot of people drop out of the hobby, or they drop out of collecting that faction, because they've already enjoyed the games, already used the models, but they haven't painted them. It's the wrong order. So you want to, if you're able to, play a game with the painted models that you have, and then you'll enjoy the game, and you think, oh yeah, I can't wait to paint up these new units, and then in you go and you can paint them. So that's a good rule. If you don't have the models painted up, then watch a battle report. Watch a battle report where they're being used, or join in a game, maybe at a club, and join in a game where someone has that faction, and ask if you can join in, or just watch, and so on, and get involved with that side of it. And you say, oh yeah, I really enjoy the way they've worked there, or it's a great unit, I've got to paint mine up, and you'll start to get motivated that way as well. So, you know, enjoy battle reports, watch the battle reports on YouTube here for my channel, other channels as well, whichever ones you enjoy, and then a lot of people would be would watch the battle reports, and then I'll get comments come through saying, oh yeah, I watched this battle report, it's really inspired me to go and start my own Necron army or Orc army. And so inspiration comes from watching what others are doing and them having success and enjoyment at what they're doing, and then motivates you to have a go yourself. So that's another great way of motivating yourself to get models painted. Then paint in small steps. You don't see. It's very difficult to say, right, here's my unit of 10 shining spears. I'm going to paint these today. It's a pretty epic task to do that. And so I've struggled with painting. I've got 4 shining spears to paint for my Eldar, and I've struggled painting those. They've really taken me ages, because I know there's a lot of work involved. I'd paint all the edges and so on. It's quite a long technique. Just paint in small steps, and you'll find that even if you sit down and you just paint a very small part, you say, I'm going to paint all of the gold here, I'm going to trim all the gold on this unit, and you just do that area, and you think, well, that's not much progress. But when you've actually painted that small bit, you think, actually, that's not taking so long, and I look forward to painting the next stage. So even just small steps along and a small amount of progress is better than none, and you'll find that it will motivate you to keep going. So just half an hour or an hour, and you'll be amazed at how much you can get done. An hour's painting, you can make great progress. So don't be afraid of making small steps. And if you try and get back into painting, just paint a small amount. It's very difficult to do a whole day's painting. You get a neck ache at the end of it anyway. This is one I've written down. I've already mentioned it. Stick to the rule of, if it's not painted, you can't use it in games. It's a great rule to stick to. Sometimes in battle reports, I don't say it on camera, but there may be a unit in there that's 2/3 painted, I haven't actually finished, but it's tabletop ready. So that's okay. That's all right to have it at that stage, because then you'll go home saying, yeah, I want to finish these off now. They're definitely in my army, no problem. But unpainted models, you know, that are either just constructed or just sprayed, is no. Just get out of that habit. It's not rewarding. It's impatient to do it, and you'll spoil the hobby for yourself. So I heartily recommend you say, right, I'm going to paint this unit, and then I'm allowed to use it in games. And that's you know, self-control, but it's rewarding to do it that way. And then as you're painting, I can't wait to use it in the game, and then the reward is, after painting, the reward is that you get to use it in the game. So if you stick to that principle, you'll find yourself getting through the units and getting your army built up, and you're then looking forward to the time when you can go for the bigger games once you've painted up enough models. It's a great rule to stick to, and I heartily recommend you do it. And I think it has helped me stay away from painting fatigue and getting fed up painting stuff. I've never really dropped out of painting since I've been into 40k, not really. So, but I think I've always stuck to that rule. The YouTube channel's helped. I've always had the philosophy of the models must be painted and based and tabletop standard at the minimum for our games that we film. Just the visual side of it and for the enjoyment of it. I think it's been a great rule to stick to. Yeah, another point here, push yourself. Sometimes you just have to push yourself to get a unit done. I'm finding that my Shining Spears at the moment, I'm churning through those. I'm struggling to get them done. It is a psychological barrier because there's not much work left to finish those last 4 models off. So you just have to push yourself to get through and to get them done. And another thing that I do enjoy doing, and it's one of the benefits of having multiple armies, and that is I do enjoy painting units from the different codexes, alternating them. So I might paint a unit of Necron Wraiths, and then I'll shift over to the Eldar, and then I'll get something done for the Orcs. There's great variety when you've got a couple of factions on the go. A lot of you watching probably have 1 faction or 2 or 3, so this point may not be as applicable to you. But push yourself if you can. So I'm really determined to get this milestone done, this certain unit. It may be a difficult unit that you're painting, a large unit that has to be done. Then sometimes you just have to say, right, I've just got to push ahead and make sure this milestone is reached. So that's pretty much all I can think of. Check out I've got one other point actually, and that is to give yourself rewards after you've reached milestones. So you can say, right, I'm going to reward myself if I finish my Orc army at 2,000 points. As soon as it's finished, I'm then going to buy myself something from Forge World and paint it up. So, you know, great reward, something to look forward to. And again, self-control, but if you're able to do something like that, then it's, you know, that can be a great motivation for you as well. Just set yourself milestones and goals and so on. What can motivate you as well is your own community that you're in. If you're at a Wargames club and you've got other friends that are painting their armies up and you want to try and catch up to reach the points level that they're at, and if they're sticking to the rule of painting the models up and so on, then you know, that can motivate you to get through the fatigue and keep going. Another point actually I've just thought of, I tend to avoid very big batches of units to paint. So usually about 10 is the maximum I go for, again to avoid painting fatigue, where you're stuck on one colour for hours and hours and hours. Is not particularly motivating. So I try and break armies down and units down into about 10 or 5, 10 is sort of the size I would go for. Even if you know, say I've got 30 Primaris Marines to paint, I'll still paint in batches of 10 or 5, even if they're all virtually the same colour scheme, just to see I can make pretty good progress. So that's the points then. I encourage you, check out the comments section. If you have any more tips, perhaps you've been a gamer and a painter for a long time and you've come up against this painting fatigue as well, then you've got some other points that I haven't made, by all means share that in the comments section. And for those of you watching, check out the comments section, see what others have said. Maybe you agree or disagree with my points, or you want to back what I've said and say, yeah, that's all tried and tested. Then leave that in the comments section below. But it's a point of discussion here. It's just to encourage you and help you in your hobby to stay motivated and to keep painting, because there's great rewards in painting armies. I really enjoy it when an army's been finished and it's arrayed out there on the battlefield. You're setting your army up and you see its interaction against the other army and so on, and all the heroics taking place. Great reward for painting. That's the great thing about 40k, is you're not just painting models, you're then getting to use the models in games and potentially leading your armies on to victory, and great fun as well. So I find that's a great help for getting motivated to paint. So there it is, that's the video as you combat painting fatigue. I hope the video has been a help to you. Keep a lookout for more discussion videos like this in the future. Check out the comment section, see what others have said. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time, and happy painting.